Yo, what's going on, guys? GZTV here, back with another video, and today we have some more horror movie reviews. I did one last weekend for Get Out, and now we have Sinister 2. And then we're going to have a Ari Aster movie tomorrow to review, so that's awesome. But let's just get into this movie, because man, this movie's creepy. Man, this movie's going to give me nightmares, and that's a good thing. It did its job as a horror movie. Let's just start off with the plot based on a Wikipedia. We're just going to read the plot so you guys have an idea. Um, it's kind of like a kill count. Shout out to Dead Meat. It's kind of like a kill count video, but I don't do a kill count at the end. Kind of just telling you guys the plot, giving you guys my thoughts. Anyways, I've already wasted enough time. The film opens with a 16mm home movie depicting a family of three. The family is bound and hung up like scarecrows with sacks over their heads in a cornfield and burned alive. It is revealed to be the nightmare of 9-year-old Dylan Collins, who is squatting in a rural farmhouse in Illinois next to the deconsecrated Westminster Lutheran Church and his twin brother Zach and their mother Courtney. The family is on the run from Clint, Courtney's abusive husband and the father of Zach and Dylan. Dylan is visited nightly by a group of ghostly children led by an older boy named Milo Jacobs, who once lived in the house with his parents and three sisters. Milo and the other children coerce Dylan to watch home movies of families being murdered in various savage ways, such as being hung upside down over a bayou and eaten alive by alligators, fishing trip filmed by Ted, being bound and gagged with Christmas lights and buried alive up to their necks in the snow until they are frozen to death with frostbite on Christmas Day, Christmas morning filmed by Emma, and being electrocuted in a flooded kitchen that was in the process of being remodeled, kitchen remodel filmed by Peter. Former Sheriff's Deputy So-and-so, now a private investigator, is researching the murders connected to Bagul, the demon, and burning down the homes where each murder took place before another family can move into them and continue the pattern, including the house where Ellison Oswald and his family were murdered. He arrives at the farmhouse to destroy it, but realizes Courtney and her sons are living there. He tells Courtney he's there to investigate the church on the property where a gruesome murder of a minister and his family, the Jacobs family, took place. This is the one we watched. Yes, it is, Jeff. But we didn't finish it. Clint shows up at the farmhouse with state troopers to try to take the boys, but leaves after the deputy threatens them, warning them that they need a court order with the consent from the sheriff. The deputy reveals that he was arrested as a suspect for the murder of the Oswalds. He was cleared of the charge, but was fired for releasing classified information to Ellison, such as the identities of the murdered families and the addresses of where the murders happened. Courtney wants to leave, but the deputy advises her not to, telling her that she'd be seen as a flight risk by the court, but also knowing that leaving would continue the murders connected to Bagul. Courtney invites him to stay overnight, and the two develop a budding romance. The deputy meets with Professor Stromberg, who has come into possession of a ham radio that belonged to Professor Jonas from the previous film, who has mysteriously disappeared shortly after the Oswald massacre, revealing that the ham radio first belonged to a Norwegian family murdered in 1973. He plays a recording of a young girl shouting, "Quiet, Bagul can't hear me," over your yelling, Mom, in Norwegian as she kills her family before playing the piano. Professor Stromberg reveals that Bagul, the boogeyman, was believed to be reachable by ritual or sacrifice and or to have been feeding on the corruption of innocence. He deduces that the murderers share three... Should I fall asleep before we start? Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. He deduced that the murderers share three common traits: a murdered family, missing children, and an iconological totem or offering in the form of any music, literature, and or art as an aesthetic observance of violence as a means to summon Bagul. The deputy deduces that Bagul exclusively targets the children of the families and orders Stromberg to destroy the ham radio. Zach becomes jealous of the ghost children who visit Dylan and insists on having their attention, but Milo rejects him. It's going to be a long video, geez. The children show Dylan the video of the church murder Sunday service, which are revealed to be done by Milo. He nailed his family to the floor by their wrist and placed a rat onto each family member's stomach after Bagul summoned the rats. He then put metal bowls over the rats, secured the bowls in place on each victim's abdomen with reinforced straps, and placed hot coals on top of the bowls, which forced the rats to escape by eating through the victims, causing his family to bleed to death. Like, very brutal movie, honestly. After Dylan refuses to watch the last movie, the children turn their attention to Zach and abandon Dylan, saying he's not the real target. Dylan watches the last reel filmed by one of the two girls of the group, Catherine, which depicts her family bound and restrained to dentist chairs with their mouths forcefully held open with medical gags as she drilled and mutilated their exposed teeth until the drill pierces through their heads. A trip to the dentist. Disgusting, honestly. Clint arrives with the court order and Courtney knowing he'll be abusive to the twins if she isn't present, goes with him to protect her sons. The deputy drives to Clint's home to warn them about the danger, but Clint beats him up and orders the deputy to leave the property, threatening him with a shotgun. The next day, Zach, as directed by Milo and the Ghost Children, films the family playing golf and having lunch outside. That night, Dylan contacts the deputy for help as he and his parents lose consciousness. Courtney, Dylan, and Clint are drugged and hung on scarecrow posts with sacks over their heads in the cornfield by Clint's house, similar to Dylan's nightmare in the opening scene. Matter of fact, it was literally, he literally had a vision that this was going to happen to his family. He dreamed of it in the beginning of the movie. A possessed Zach douses his family in 3 separate trails of gasoline, lights Clint on fire, and films him as his father burns to death. The deputy arrives at the Collins residence and follows the smoke and screams to where Zach has the family. Just as Zach is about to light Dylan on fire, the deputy hits Zach with his car. I don't know how he didn't die from that, but he didn't. He frees Courtney and Dylan and they flee into the cornfield. However, Zach survives being hit and cuts off the fingers of the deputy's left hand with a sickle. Disgusting, too. Inside the home, the ghost children try to help Zach find them. Just as Zach is about to kill Courtney and Dylan, the deputy manages to destroy the camera with a golf club, thwarting Zach's attempts to make his home movie and break the cycle. Zach tries to find another camera in the attic, but he's shamed by the ghost children for failing to kill his family. Without an iconological object to influence living children and earn souls for Bagul to consume, they are now trapped in the spirit realm. Bagul appears and places his hand on Zach's shoulder. As a punishment for his failure, Bagul causes Zach's body to decay rapidly, the cloth projection screen to burst into flames with Zach and Bagul inside. The whole house catches on fire as the deputy, Courtney, and Dylan escape. The trio survive their escape from the burning house and their ordeal. Later, while collecting his things to leave with Courtney and Dylan, the deputy finds the unharmed ham radio in his motel room, and the ghost children begin speaking through it, with Bagul quickly appearing on the screen. End of the movie was very, very terrifying. That jump scare was fucking crazy. And this character is really well, like, dressed very well, like, oriented, I guess, if you will. Like, it looks, like, really scary. And we have a bot in the chat. Just ignore that if you see it. It's fucking annoying. YouTube cannot control themselves. But, it's a really good movie, and it's kind of crazy because this could actually... I'm not looking at it. I'm done. Hopefully they don't hack my YouTube channel or something like that. But, it's crazy because stuff like this has happened before, and maybe this movie kind of helps explain it. Let's compare to the first movie. In the first movie, the protagonist family actually ended up all dying. In the second movie, 2 of the family members survived, and that was the mother and the son. And obviously, the deputy got involved because he had kind of an affair with the mother after helping her get her husband away from her. So they kind of had a relationship there. I like this movie more, I feel like. I think the end scene is way more intense than anything that happened in the first Sinister. People will say the original is better, and that's just kind of a bias. That's kind of what happens with horror movies. The sequel is always seen as the worst one, but it really wasn't in this case. I liked the action. It was so intense. I liked the ghost children being, like, kind of mixed into the movie. I like this thought of, like, the father being abusive and the sons wanting to get a revenge, and, like, these ghost children influencing them by showing home videos and inspiring them to make their own videos, like murdering their family. It's very, very evil and fucked up, but it's just kind of like this social lesson, this, like, social commentary on abusive fathers and kids wanting to rebel against everybody and take action in the extremes of even murder. And it's happened in the past, so this is a reality. This movie can be a reality. Obviously, the demon, real or not, you guys can figure that out for yourselves if you believe in that or not. But that can be an explanation for kids wanting to kill families and people being evil, murderers in general. But yeah, and I think it's actually based on a real myth. So that's kind of an oxymoron, but an actual myth that exists in literature and stuff. I think this movie is based on that, not like the characters in the movie or anything. But I really enjoyed this movie. I definitely encourage you guys to watch it. If you're easily disturbed, I wouldn't. The murders are very, very disgusting. People are electrocuted, eaten out, which is that sounds sexual, but it's not. It's people are nailed down, people are burnt to death. It's a very disturbing movie. But anyways, leave a like, comment, subscribe. It's always been GZTV giving you guys this horror movie content. I do reviews once a week, twice this week. I'm going to give you guys a nice little special because I really feel like watching a movie. This movie was great. I really like this movie. I'm not sure who directed this series, but I'd like to give credit to them. They definitely did a good job with this one. But anyways, you guys have a good rest of your day.